bunch of spoiled, jealous brats. All I want to hear from them is thank you. That's it. That's all they should be saying to Caitlin Clark. Thank you so much for calling attention to our sport that literally no one cares about. Nobody. No one cares about women's basketball. They don't care about it at the college level. They don't care about the WNBA. The only reason they're watching it now is because of that one woman who apparently, I'm not a sports person, but I'm told is the Michael Jordan of women's basketball.
Check. This is a game the other day, and that was pretty deliberate. And look at the other girl on her team coming over. See, if this was men, they defend each other on their same team. Men will fight from two teams, but when somebody checks you on who's on your team, you defend that guy.
In a stunning turn of events, Megyn Kelly and Bill Maher have come out swinging at the WNBA, calling out what they see as a failure to protect one of the league's brightest rising stars, Caitlin Clark. Both Kelly and Maher have taken issue with the treatment and alleged abuses Clark has faced, arguing that the league's handling of star players falls short of what's needed to foster a safe and supportive environment. Their outspoken criticism has left fans and players alike shocked, sparking a fiery debate over how the WNBA addresses player welfare and the responsibilities it has to its athletes. With Kelly and Maher now weighing in, this issue is capturing attention like never before.
This is an ongoing problem. And people like Sunny Hostin, who's upset about her white privilege and her pretty privilege. Sunny Hostin's out there openly admitting to how much cosmetic work she's had done. So just take a seat on your pretty privilege.
As her career has skyrocketed, however, Caitlin Clark has faced a troubling reality off the court: the challenges of racial prejudice and discrimination. Despite her remarkable contributions to the sport, Caitlin has encountered stereotypes, criticisms, and biased judgments that often overshadow her achievements.
Now, there's also a racial element to this. We can't deny that. And I have Charlemagne on next week. I'm going to talk about it with him, so I'll get you off the hook. But I'll just say, it's not always racism when a white person succeeds. Okay.
And it's not always racism when black people hip check them either. Right? Both are at play.
No.
I think it's natural for a megastar to come in and people say, I'm kind of tired of hearing about it.
It's everything. It's women are catty, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot of going on here.
These incidents serve as a painful reminder that racial prejudice remains deeply embedded in sports culture, even in leagues like the WNBA that celebrate diversity and inclusion. It's a reality that many athletes, especially those from minority backgrounds, experience throughout their careers. When stories of Caitlin facing racism began surfacing, it sparked conversations among fans, athletes, and public figures.
So Caitlin Clark is now playing in the WNBA.
Yeah.
She's finished at Iowa, and she's a star. She's huge. She's the biggest star of anybody. And she's changing the numbers for the WNBA in massive ways. Let me just give you my team's info.
Two of the most vocal advocates for her have been Megyn Kelly and Bill Maher, who have taken to their respective platforms to address these issues head-on. Both have a reputation for discussing controversial issues openly, and their willingness to defend Caitlin reflects their concerns about racial bias in the sports world and how it affects athletes' mental and emotional well-being. Together, Kelly and Maher's defense of Caitlin has ignited a much-needed conversation around racism in sports and the role of public figures in addressing these issues.
Something exciting and electric and totally worth watching, and probably a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. Who wouldn't go to see Michael Jordan? Even I don't like sports at all. I barely understand the difference between hockey and lacrosse. But when I was living in Chicago back in 1995, Michael Jordan was playing with that dream team Chicago Bulls team with Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. And even I went to see those games, because it was the GOAT. And by the way, he's still the GOAT. I know enough to know LeBron James is not it. So here comes the female GOAT. And these women are going from having 3,000 people in their arenas to 20,000. Like that. If you look at the WNBA games just this past weekend, where all these women were playing, and then Caitlin Clark was playing for her team, those were the numbers: 3,000, 4,000, 7,000 at best. Caitlin Clark, 17,000, almost 20,000.
Their perspectives highlight how Caitlyn's experiences are part of a larger pattern that affects athletes across all sports, regardless of their individual achievements. By speaking out, they hope to inspire meaningful change within the WNBA and encourage fans and fellow athletes to support Caitlyn and others who have faced similar challenges.
And Iowa has Caitlin Clark, who's become this huge star. She's amazing, and she's getting all this attention, and some nasty press reporters are upset about it. We read a piece on Friday with this woman saying the face of women's basketball has been black and it needs to stay black. Okay, racist.
Caitlyn herself has remained composed through it all, choosing to focus on her love for the game and her commitment to her team. Despite the hurtful comments and the pressure of navigating such a high-profile career, she has continued to excel on the court, demonstrating incredible resilience.
Said the following.
Sonny,
This is
really
not
went
in
for
response to this, but in response to another one. Listen to Sonny Hostin, Sot 9.
If Caitlin Clark is the vehicle that will bring this sport that I have loved so much and so long to little 5-year-old girls playing in Harlem, I say yes, bravo. Yeah. I have no problem with that. I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that.
Her strength in the face of adversity has earned her the respect of fans and fellow players alike. Yet the support she has received from Kelly and Maher has provided her with additional encouragement, knowing that her story resonates with people who believe in justice and equality.
What kind of a dumbass player would have any feeling other than, yes, this is awesome, in response to that? But they're so envious of her because she's so good and so annoyed by the fact that she's white, because we're seeing this in magazine after magazine, that they treat her like she's persona non grata, like she's disgusting and unwanted. Great. You know what? I hope you go back to your loser ratings and your loser attendance. God forbid anything happens to this young woman, because I'm worried about her safety now.
The WNBA's response to Caitlyn's experiences has been mixed, with some officials acknowledging the need for better support systems, while others remain silent. This inconsistency has fueled frustration among fans and advocates, who feel that the league could do more to protect its players.
So she's getting a lot of hate from people like that. Of course, Jamel Hill has weighed in, like a lot of people taking shots at her. Lynette Woodward, who I didn't know, I confess I'm not a big WNBA or NBA person, but she came out to say her own scoring record stands despite Caitlin Clark beating it, because I guess they didn't have 3-pointers when she was playing, which is just ridiculous. Here she is in SOT 6.
Kelly and Maher's advocacy has only intensified this demand for change, putting pressure on the WNBA to take decisive action.
2020, the WNBA's average viewers on these, on ESPN, ABC, whatever, 205,000. 205,000. 2021, 306,000. 2022, 372,000. 2023, 505,000. Now, with Caitlin Clark playing, 2.12 million on May 14th, 1.71 million on May 16th, and 1.5 million on May 18th. These are the highest ratings in more than 10 years, and it is 100% because of Caitlin Clark.
For many, the league's response will be a test of its commitment to inclusivity and its willingness to support athletes beyond their performance on the court. Kelly and Maher's vocal defense of Caitlin serves as a reminder of the power of solidarity in confronting prejudice.
She's like the prisoner who used to be a cop, who's like in danger around every turn. Like, they keep coming for her. This hit she took at the WNBA game last weekend was not in the course of play. No one was trying to stop the ball or shoot the ball. They weren't near the ball. This girl just assaulted her. And this girl's had 2 other issues with teams and inappropriate behavior to where she's reportedly been kicked off of 2 other WNBA teams.
Their support sends a message that no athlete should have to face discrimination alone, and that public figures have a responsibility to use their platforms to advocate for justice. In doing so, they have not only supported Caitlin, but also opened the door for future conversations around equality in sports. The issue of racial discrimination in sports is complex and deeply rooted.
I think the words you're looking for are thank you. Those are the words you're looking for. Thank you. That's what you should be saying to Caitlin. To his credit, LeBron James tweeted out in support of her as follows: "If you don't rock with Caitlin Clark game, you're just a flat out hater. Stay far away from them, people, please. Right on.
But the attention brought to Caitlyn's story by Kelly and Maher represents a step forward. Their commitment to addressing this issue, combined with Caitlyn's resilience, creates a powerful narrative that challenges stereotypes and pushes for a more inclusive environment in the WNBA.